It began as an ordinary California night. San Clemente rested in quiet stillness. Inside, Linda Curry moved through familiar rooms. At 49, she was known for kindness. Warm laughter. Open doors. A welcoming heart. Then something changed without warning. She felt weak. Uneasy. Strangely unwell. Hours later, hospital lights replaced home comfort. Nurses noticed something unusual. The fluid looked cloudy. Not normal. Not expected. A question quietly formed. Was this an error, or something intentional? No one knew this moment would begin a decades-long mystery. Linda Curry was born in 1944. Raised in a home filled with affection. Family meant everything to her. Especially her sister, her closest confidant. They shared laughter, secrets, lifelong trust. Friends described Linda as welcoming and warm. She remembered birthdays, small details, quiet struggles. Her smile made strangers feel like family. Her home was always open. Dinner tables filled with conversation and comfort. She loved gathering people together. Cooking meals that lasted long into evening. Her garden reflected her personality. Carefully tended, bright, and inviting. Linda believed kindness should be practiced daily. Yet her life carried private disappointments. 2 marriages had ended in heartbreak. Each ending left quiet emotional scars. She never had children, something she deeply wished for. Still, she refused to grow bitter. Hope remained part of her identity. She believed love could still arrive. Friends admired her resilience. She rebuilt her life more than once. Always choosing optimism over regret. Always searching for connection and meaning. To those around her, Linda represented perseverance. A woman determined to keep believing. Even after life tested her faith. She moved forward with grace. Certain that happiness was still ahead. By 1989, Linda chose a fresh beginning. She purchased a large San Clemente home. Bright rooms. A welcoming garden outside. It symbolized independence and hope. Her career was thriving at the power station. Years of dedication earned respect and stability. Life finally felt balanced again. That same year, she met Paul Curry, a new engineer at her workplace. He appeared intelligent and self-assured, confident in every conversation. He often spoke about academic achievements, even appearing on a popular quiz show, winning admiration and prize money. Their professional talks became personal discussions. Friendships slowly turned into romance. Colleagues watched their connection grow naturally. Paul soon became part of Linda's daily life. He moved into her San Clemente home. Shared routines formed quickly. In September 1992, they married in Las Vegas. A simple ceremony filled with optimism. Linda seemed genuinely happy again. Together, they earned a strong combined income. Comfort and security appeared certain. Friends saw success and companionship. A stable marriage. A promising future. From the outside, everything looked perfectly normal. Nothing seemed out of place. Nothing suggested trouble ahead. At first, nothing seemed seriously wrong. Life continued in familiar routines. Workdays passed without major conflict. Dinner gatherings still filled the home. But small tensions quietly appeared. Bills began arriving more frequently. Expenses seemed higher than expected. Despite strong incomes, money felt tight. Linda noticed growing financial pressure. Conversations increasingly centered on finances. Paul spoke often about long-term security, savings, policies, future protection plans. Then Linda learned something unexpected. Paul had been married before. Not once, but twice. He also supported 3 children financially. Responsibilities she had never known about. The revelation deeply unsettled her. Trust felt slightly shaken. Still, she chose forgiveness. She believed honesty could grow over time. Friends, however, felt uneasy. Mary sensed something wasn't right. Paul appeared distant during gatherings. Focused more on achievements than relationships. Conversations often returned to money. Then a new suggestion emerged. Paul encouraged another insurance policy. One valued near $1 million. Linda already carried multiple policies, many already naming Paul as beneficiary. To Linda, it sounded practical at first, a responsible step toward shared security. But Mary reacted immediately with concern. She reminded Linda about hidden truths, past marriages, financial burdens, unanswered questions. She urged Linda to slow down, to think carefully before agreeing. After hesitation, Linda declined the policy. The decision created quiet tension at home. Something subtle shifted afterward. Paul seemed emotionally more distant. Affection felt measured, almost rehearsed. Friends noticed inconsistencies in his behavior. Charm in public, detachment in private moments. Linda tried to reassure everyone. She defended her husband repeatedly, believing love required patience, believing doubts would eventually fade. Yet concern continued growing around her. Whispers replaced easy laughter among friends. Questions lingered without clear answers. At the time, these were small concerns. Later, they would feel impossible to ignore. By mid-1993, Linda's health suddenly changed. Energy faded without clear explanation. Simple tasks became exhausting. Doctors recommended hospital observation. She was admitted for closer monitoring. Machines hummed softly beside her bed. Visitors came and went quietly. Paul remained constantly at her side. Attentive, supportive in appearance. Days passed with uncertain answers. Then Linda noticed something unusual. The four-bag looked different. The fluid appeared cloudy. Not clear like before. A detail she could not ignore. She alerted the nursing staff immediately. Medical teams examined the equipment carefully. Samples were taken for testing. Results raised serious concern. The solution contained lidocaine, a substance never ordered for her care. No medical reason explained its presence. Staff launched an internal investigation. Questions spread through the hospital quietly. How did it get there? Who had access? Records showed limited room entry. One person spent extended unsupervised time inside. Her husband, Paul Curry. Suspicion slowly formed among staff. Friends felt their fears confirmed. But Linda resisted the possibility. She defended Paul without hesitation. Believing a mistake made more sense. Believing love meant trust. Investigators respected her wishes. The inquiry quietly closed. Her condition gradually improved. Doctors prepared her for discharge. She returned home hoping for normalcy, determined to leave fear behind. Yet something irreversible had changed. Doubt had entered the story, even if she refused to see it. Love had overridden suspicion, and the moment marked a turning point. Months passed after Linda returned home. Life appeared calmer again. Friends hoped the danger had ended. But the relief did not last. Her symptoms returned unexpectedly. Weakness, fatigue, persistent discomfort. Doctors admitted her once more. Hospital lights replaced home comfort again. Staff monitored her condition closely. Then something familiar appeared. Another four-bag looked abnormal. Testing confirmed contamination again. The pattern could no longer be ignored. Hospital leadership took immediate action. Visitor access became strictly controlled. No one entered without supervision. A sign appeared outside her door. Quiet but unmistakable protection. The restriction focused on one person. Paul Curry's access changed overnight. Under supervision, Linda's condition improved. Doctors noticed the difference quickly. A troubling question emerged. Why did illness stop under supervision? During recovery, Linda asked Mary for help. She needed personal belongings from home. Mary entered the quiet house alone. Something immediately felt unusual. Papers covered the living room table. Insurance documents spread neatly across surfaces. Policy after policy listed beneficiaries. Paul's name appeared repeatedly. Mary felt immediate concern. She informed Linda at the hospital. Linda reacted with confusion. The documents were not displayed before. Someone had arranged them afterward. A new question formed silently. Was someone calculating future payouts? Weeks later, Linda returned home again. Communication with friends slowly faded. Distance replaced daily conversations. Then June 9, 1994 arrived. Mary received an unexpected message. An email from Paul himself. He said Linda was seriously ill. Hours passed in uneasy silence. Just after midnight, an emergency call followed. Paramedics rushed toward the home. Linda never regained awareness. Shock spread through her community. Friends feared the worst had happened. The mystery deepened overnight. Medical testing followed carefully. Specialists reviewed chemical findings. An unexpected substance appeared in results. Combined with a strong sleep aid, experts concluded administration was intentional. Investigators asked a critical question. Who had access during those hours? Only one person was present. Detectives began assembling timelines. They studied patterns instead of injuries. Poison investigations rely on subtle clues. Toxicology reveals chemical timelines. Substances leave measurable traces. Experts compare exposure with opportunity. Access becomes crucial evidence. Behavioral patterns also matter deeply. Who benefits from the outcome? Who controls the environment? Who remains consistently present? These questions guide investigators forward. After Linda's passing, financial matters moved quickly. Insurance claims were filed without delay. Payments totaling hundreds of thousands followed. Paul received significant funds. Soon after, he sold the home. He relocated across the country. Kansas became his new beginning. He secured steady employment again. Eventually, he remarried and rebuilt life. From the outside, everything seemed settled. But unanswered questions remained behind. Why leave so quickly after tragedy? Why start over so far away? Investigators quietly kept watching. The case refused to disappear completely. And viewers now faced the same puzzle. Pieces existed, but answers remained hidden. Years passed without public movement. The case quietly faded from headlines. But one investigator refused to forget. Detective Yvonne Schul revisited the files. In 2007, she reopened the investigation. Boxes of records returned to her desk. Hospital reports. Financial documents. Old statements. She studied every detail carefully. Patterns began forming again. She reviewed the hospital incidents first. 2 unexplained contaminations years earlier. Both occurring under similar circumstances. Both connected by access and timing. Next came the financial records. Insurance policies told their own story. Large payouts linked to one beneficiary. Then she examined timelines closely. Small inconsistencies appeared repeatedly. Moments that did not fully align. Schul believed psychology would reveal more. Direct confrontation rarely brings honesty. Instead, she chose patience and conversation. She contacted Paul by phone. Her tone sounded friendly and casual. She presented herself as helpful. Just closing remaining paperwork, she said. Paul agreed to speak comfortably. Calls continued over several weeks. Every conversation was recorded. He spoke freely about the past. Confident the case was finished. Details flowed without hesitation. But small contradictions began appearing. Times changed between conversations. Descriptions shifted slightly each call. He mentioned information never publicly released. Statements slowly conflicted with evidence. Schul never interrupted or accused. She simply listened carefully. This technique follows a known method. Investigators call it conversational interviewing. The goal is relaxed communication. People reveal more when comfortable. Memory slips become revealing moments. Confidence often lowers natural caution. Truth emerges through repetition and comparison. Consistency becomes the measuring tool. Small errors expose larger realities. As weeks passed, Schul mapped contradictions. Each statement placed beside documented facts. Gaps became impossible to ignore. The psychological picture grew clearer. Motive. Opportunity aligned together. She arranged an in-person meeting. Paul agreed without suspicion, believing the conversation routine. They met calmly in Kansas. The discussion lasted over an hour. Schul maintained a relaxed demeanor. No accusations. No raised voices. Then she gave a quiet signal. Officers entered the room moments later. After years of unanswered questions, Paul Curry was taken into custody. The investigation had shifted completely. Patience and psychology changed everything. Not through pressure or confrontation, but through listening, timing, and careful strategy. The mystery was finally approaching resolution. The meeting in Kansas felt ordinary at first. A quiet conversation across a small table. Detective Schul remained calm and patient. Paul appeared relaxed and confident. He believed the past was settled. Questions sounded routine and harmless. Then the atmosphere shifted suddenly. Officers entered the room together. The conversation came to an end. Paul Curry was placed under arrest. After years of uncertainty, action finally arrived. News traveled quickly back to California. Friends felt shock mixed with relief. The investigation moved toward court proceedings. Evidence gathered over decades was organized carefully. Every timeline reviewed again. Every statement compared with records. Prosecutors prepared a detailed narrative. In 2014, the trial officially began. Courtrooms filled with quiet anticipation. Linda's story returned to public attention. Witnesses described her warmth and kindness. Investigators explained years of unanswered questions. Medical experts presented scientific findings. They described how nicotine affects the body. They explained administration during sedation. The timing matched investigative conclusions. Access and opportunity aligned clearly. Financial records were introduced next. Insurance policies established possible motive. Patterns from earlier hospital incidents were reviewed. Jurors listened to recorded conversations carefully. Contradictions became increasingly difficult to dismiss. Piece by piece, the narrative formed. Defense arguments questioned interpretation and certainty. But the cumulative evidence remained strong. Weeks of testimony led toward deliberation. The courtroom waited in silence. Jurors examined every detail presented. Then a decision was reached. The verdict confirmed investigators' conclusions. Paul Curry was found guilty. Charges included intentional harm for financial gain. The judge issued the maximum sentence. Life imprisonment without possibility of release. For Linda's loved ones, emotions were complex. Relief arrived alongside lasting grief. Justice had taken nearly 2 decades. But answers finally replaced uncertainty. What investigators uncovered confirmed. What many had quietly feared for years. The truth had been hidden patiently, waiting for persistence to reveal it. The house now stands quiet and still. Rooms once filled with laughter sit empty. Sunlight fades across familiar windows. Neighbors remember her gentle presence. A woman known for kindness and warmth. Linda believed deeply in love and hope. She trusted the future would be safe. Looking back, warning signs existed. Small moments that felt easy to dismiss. Concerns softened by trust and devotion. Denial often feels kinder than doubt, especially when love is involved. Financial pressure can hide deeper intentions. Manipulation rarely appears obvious at first. It grows slowly, almost invisibly. Friends sensed unease but hesitated. No one wants to imagine betrayal. Intuition whispers before truth becomes clear. Listening early can change outcomes. Awareness begins with difficult questions. Justice eventually arrived after many years. But time cannot restore lost moments. Linda is remembered for generosity and resilience. For welcoming others without hesitation. Her story remains a quiet lesson. How often do warning signs appear? Long before anyone feels ready to see them? Awareness protects future lives. Compassion must walk beside vigilance. And sometimes paying attention is the greatest act of care we offer. If this case held your attention, subscribe to Iman Crime Files for more documented investigations. New cases are uploaded regularly. Most crimes don't begin with violence. They begin with silence.